So a lot of teams automate the current process. So they just automate the process as is. But this can be very wasteful. And I've covered other videos of the 8 different types of wastes that exist in the business or a process and the different efficiencies. But even before you implement technology like automation, you can actually redesign the process to remove a lot of these inefficiencies and forms of waste. And if you're automating processes which are streamlined and optimized, you can get a lot more bang for your buck and higher returns on investments. In this video, we're going to cover 5 tips for redesigning the process that you want to automate. Because this is going to make your automation delivery a lot faster. It's going to be cheaper to build. You're going to be able to spread your automation further across your business, and processes will become more scalable. Lean thinking and intelligent automation goes together so well. It's a powerful combination. It can really accelerate the rollout of digital transformation and accelerate your program. Hi guys, I'm Tony and this is Intelligent Automation Simplified. In these videos, I share tips, tricks, do's and don'ts and simplify intelligent automation for business leaders and professionals who are new to automation so that you can level up your knowledge and you're empowered to optimize your business and discover new technologies in a lean and accelerated way. So if you're looking to accelerate your learning curve and future-proof your team and your career, like the subscribe button so that you get notified every time I release new videos. So if you're involved in automation, you should get upskilled in lean thinking. As a Lean Six Sigma black belt, I see the massive benefits that lean thinking has when automating a business's processes. But some companies have their process improvement teams and automation teams separate. Why oh why do we love to create silos? Mix up the teams, have multi-skilled teams. It's just a lot more powerful. You can share ideas, share knowledge, and create better solutions. Anyway, let's get into it. Number 1 is about reducing the process. You may need to reduce the scope of what that process is all about. It could be for multiple reasons. It's an unnecessary task. Maybe you have too many services that you provide. You need to really shrink that down and focus. Like if you're in a situation where every time you get a new client, you build a new feature for them. And then you just ultimately become a dev shop rather than providing a product or fixed service. It's just not that scalable. It's very effortful. So by reducing what the team, department, or even the business does, you can focus on a handful of services and provide better services rather than spreading your team thin. You've probably heard of the 80-20 rule, and it's crazy to think that 80% of your time and your team's time are spent on 20% of the tasks. 80% of profits are from 20% of customers. If you've heard the McDonald's story, they actually removed all their products from their menu apart from 3 products: fries, burgers, and I think soft drinks, because that created the majority of their profits. And now we know that they were able to scale across the US and then worldwide. But okay, that may be more on a strategic business level. But at a process level, you could maybe reduce things like paperwork, reduce your carbon footprint. Think about what overproduction of wasteful things a process is creating. Maybe there's just a lot of paperwork piling up, or virtual documents and folders of folders of folders, and just using up a lot of storage. Tip 2 is remove redundant steps. Perhaps the technology has moved on, or the applications have been upgraded, or there's new technology available on the market, so these certain steps may not be needed anymore. Some steps may not be needed once the process is automated as well. Maybe your team doesn't need to print the documents anymore and put it in the storage cabinet. I remember, I'll give you an example of when a team I was working with were printing off documents and storing it in the storage room, and it literally was never used again. And when I asked, Why they were doing that, no one really knew, and it wasn't even for audit purposes because they already had these documents stored on their system. So just by removing those steps, we were able to save the team's time and to save paper. And another example, at an energy company, there were two teams that basically did the same thing, but team 1 served customer A and then team 2 served customer type B, and they were about 300 miles apart. But one team was working twice as fast as the other, so we went and we investigated, and team B was actually doing half the steps that team A were doing. So all we needed to do was align the two teams and standardize the process, the best process, and doing nothing but removing those additional redundant steps saved hours. So think about in your solution, what steps or entire tasks can be removed? Think about if there are any analog steps that exist that can be taken out now. Number 3 is replacing steps, and this is especially important when it comes to automation or bringing in new technologies, as now there may be a new way to complete a step or even a task, like printing versus digitizing paper, PDFs versus web forms, customer calls versus chatbots. For example, the bot sends an email instead of a human posting a letter. So think about in your situation, are there any manually intensive tasks which are logic based and therefore can be automated? And check out the video. We'll put a link in the description below about how to identify processes that are suitable for automation. And don't forget to subscribe to get notified when we release how to find AI processes as well. And with automation, and especially intelligent automation, it's continuous improvement as new technologies come on to the market and emerge, and existing technologies get better. You can replace and remove the mundane, clunky steps that currently exist. So it's always best practice to keep circling back at processes that you've automated to see if there's better ways that you could improve on them and expand and extend the scope of your automated solution. Number 4 is reorder, because just by reordering the steps in a process and the sequence of the steps in a process, it can make the process flow a lot smoother. So just imagine you have two teams, and instead of sending information back and forth between people in team A and team B, you could just have team A complete the process and then they hand it over to team B to complete the process. And it's a lot smoother, there's a lot less handoffs, and you can actually save a lot of time just from changing the sequence. Hey, just a quick one, hit that like button if you're finding this video useful. That will really help me out a lot. Thanks. So the final point is redeploying process steps. And this is basically moving a task or a process step or activity to another person or department. Maybe your teams that are doing a task or process steps shouldn't really be the people, and it should be really someone else doing that step. Perhaps the operations team are raising invoices instead of it being the accounting team, who can do it faster and more accurately and have the skills to go through that process a lot more efficiently. So think in your situation, are there any teams doing things that they're not really equipped for? Are they doing anything outside their expertise? Because it may actually be cheaper and more efficient if you outsource certain tasks. Or going the other way, maybe you wanted to bring tasks in-house. As an example, when working at a financial services company, they had partners that were printing hundreds of documents that needed to be signed and posting them out to clients. But by bringing that process in-house and then digitizing that process, we were able to create a much smoother process flow, removing a lot of waste and inefficiencies. Therefore, when we came to automating the process, the bot didn't need to spend that much time on that optimized process, and therefore it freed up the bot's capacity to be working on other processes. and therefore the infrastructural costs are lower as well. So are you automating lean and streamlined processes by redesigning and optimizing them first? Okay, even if you can't eradicate all the waste and inefficiencies in the process, it's important to identify the inefficiencies in the team and continuously work on reducing them over time. So check out that video, 8 wastes, so you can find what downtime actually stands for, and look at 6 ways to find efficiencies in your business. We'll add the links in the description below. Remember, map out the process, because this is the best way to identify where you can implement these 6 ways of optimization that we've just covered today. Have you mapped out have you mapped out the process of your target team? Have you used what's called a SIPOC? Subscribe to our videos and we'll release videos on what a SIPOC diagram actually is to optimize that process. Also, in future videos, we'll identify non-value add activities that aren't, adding value. So make sure you subscribe and we'll keep adding these videos for you. Let us know in the comments if there was anything that was really of importance to you that you'd like to understand a little bit more about. Leave your comments below and we'll see if we can get more videos out to help you. So if you're already subscribed, you can go that one step further by joining our newsletter, where we're going to provide you free tips, resources to further simplify how you can get on top of all these techniques and use all these tools. Okay guys, you keep optimizing and keep discovering. See ya.